and I'm ready to roll now. I'm ready to do everything I need for my for loop. December 2016 has the prices I need. And so I'm going to get the first value. I'll put that in A. First December 2016. So that's going to line A is going to essentially be the first price of the month for December 2016. And then I want to get the last price for December 2016. Sorry. And this will become last right here. Now this give me, and line 20 will now give me the last price of December 2016. I can now calculate my result for what I wanted, and we'll call that the signal, right? We'll call it the signal, which is basically going to be B divided by A minus 1. Perfect. Now, that is essentially step 2. Now we have to store these results, and I'll talk about that in a second, right? But before we do the storing, basically what I mean by storing was when we append the values to a vector. I'll talk about that in a moment. Let's go ahead and just knock out step 4. Step 4, we also want to know for each, when we backtest our portfolios, we obviously, to backtest the portfolio, we need to have the returns of the portfolio at the portfolio level. To calculate the returns at the portfolio level, we need to have the individual returns of each ticker, right? From the range I specified, which is the beginning year of 2017 to February 5th, 2018. Here we can knock it out, people. Right here in one shot. I simply do what I want again. I'm just going to copy all this right here. Just change the variables. So instead of December 2016, I'm going to say backtest period underscore period. Well, this is kind of long. We'll just call it BP for backtest period. And now, if I could show you down here in my console, right? Instead of just putting in one time frame, so in this case I want it from 2017, right? And here I'm just going to put in the year 2017. If I just put in 2017, it'll give me all of 2017. If I add a slash right here and then I give it another time frame. Now, just because I started off giving it with a year doesn't mean I have to stick in that format. I can specify a date. In my case, I want to backtest to February 5th, 2018, so I can give exactly that time frame. 2018 02-05. Now, it's important to remember, in QuantMod, the single digits must have the 0 before them. A lot of you got points off because you, instead of doing 2018-02-05, you guys did 2018-2-5. You must have the 0205 format. It must be MM/DD, always 2 digits, right? And to show you, if I run this, right, let me run it on the head and tail so you can get a good picture of it. So if I run this command, enter head, you will see the first values I get is January 3rd, 2017. Again, January 3rd, 2017 was the first trading day of the year 2017. Again, I don't need to know the exact day. QuantMod will figure that out for me. And now, if I run the same command, but this time I run it on last, right? You now see the last item of data I have is the exact date I wanted for, February 5th, 2018. I'm ready to go. And again, I could play the same game where I use comma 6. So let's go ahead and do that. So I want to do, in here, I'm just going to change 2017 to 2017 dash 2018 dash, slash 2018 dash 02 dash 05. All right. Comma 6. BP becomes that. Here, I want to do again, I want the first value. I'm going to call this C, right? And this will be the first value of the first trading day, the price of the first trading day of 2017, which again, I believe was January 3rd, as we just saw. And now D will become the last trading date for BP, which exact will be 2018-02-05, right? And again, I simply take the latest divided by the earliest minus 1, and we'll call this, we'll call this backtest. Right? Now, I have everything I need. One thing is missing. I need to store these values. What's going to happen is for every loop, everything's going to run beautifully. I'm going to get my signal, which is going to be a return. I'm going to get my backtest value, which will be a return as well for each ticker. Problem is, every loop they'll be overwritten, right? They'll be overwritten because every time these numbers will change, this number 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 will change. So how do I deal with this? I create a vector that will simply append the value every loop. So when the for loop is done, I will have two rows of 16 of size 16, which will have the signal values for all the tickers and the backtest value for all the tickers. So right above the for loop, I'll create my empty vector. So my first vector I want to create is my S vector for signal. And I will call this, I'll make this empty. And my second one will be my backtest vector. And I'll make this empty as well. Okay? And now here, I just add in the append function. And remember, there's two ways to append. I'll just do this, I'll do one way for now. I'll show both ways right now, actually. For line 24, S underscore V will equal the C function. Remember from our practice sets, I will give it the SV vector. And again, right now, in your first iteration, SV will be empty, right? But in the other iterations, SV will have values. And to this, I want to append whatever signal will be. Okay? To the right of the equals, this will create a whole new vector, and that vector will then be set equal to SV. And then the next loop, SV will be the previous vector, and the next loop, this SV will be the previous vector, etc., etc. By the time you're done, you're going to have a vector with 16 values in SV. Here, B underscore V, I will use the other way to append a vector. You can use any way you want. I just want you to understand both ways. All right. So here, I'm going to use the n-row methodology. Right. And here the difference is very simple. Here the difference is that we dynamically change the index within BV every iteration. n-row BV basically gives the existing size of BV. Sorry, I just supposed to have an underscore. Good thing I caught that. It's supposed to give the existing size of the B underscore V. In the first iteration, that will be 0. Because we have a +1 here, this whole thing in the first iteration becomes 1. So B underscore V of 1 will get the first value of backtest. In the second iteration, n-row becomes 1. 1 plus 1 equals 2. So this whole thing then becomes 2 in the second iteration. And then backtest, the second backtest will go in the second position of B underscore V. And so on and so on. Right? So now I have my for loop. I'm ready to go. And now let's go ahead and run this. All right, I already have my tick vector. I have these vectors, so let's go ahead and run this and see how it goes. I got some warning messages, and as we're going to find out for lab 4, some of these stocks just don't have data, so it gets kind of messy, but we'll deal with it. We'll get better data to deal with in future lab. For now, we'll work with what we have. And now down here in the console, I will type in S underscore V so you can see what we have. And as you can see, we have 16 values. Right, very nice. And down here for B underscore V, we have 16 values as well. S underscore V are our signal values. So those are the returns for our intra-month December 2016 prices. B underscore V are our backtest values. They are what the returns were for the stocks from the beginning of 2017 to February 5th, 2018. Now, since I combine steps 2 and 4, I can now go to step 3. I can now knock out step 3. All right. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a data frame. I'm going to work with data frames just to make my life easier.